Welcome back to HPL. We saw Kaldi take a 2-0 lead over Greensheep. Now, we've had this situation a few times already on HPL, and no one yet has been able to win 3 in a row to come back from that 2-0 deficit. Is Greensheep going to be the first one? We're going to find out pretty soon. Anything can happen. It's not over for him yet.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he can change his strategy up in any way he wants, able to make his adjustments. He's kind of felt out Kaldi at this point, but he hasn't gotten a ton of information as he showed a wider range than we typically see from some of these players. They tend to go with kind of similar strategies in games 1 and 2, but anything can happen here. Again, Greensheep, can he be the first person to pick up 3 straight after being down 0-2? Game 3 is getting underway.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if he is actually the first person to get up 3-0. And you know what? He's going to be aggressive and try to pick up that win here. And it looks like we're going to swap what happened last game. We're going to have Hunter versus Warlock, but Kaldi's on the Warlock side this time, and Greensheep is the one hunting for a win.
Yeah, going back to Handlock after this, trying to continue to mix things up. Greensheep gets, I think, his advantageous matchup, and look at that, Wolf Rider and Arcane Golem in the opening hand. And we saw that they're releasing those new hero portraits in Hearthstone's coming out. Greensheep actually tweeted that he hopes the Hunter one is just a giant Wolf Rider.
That's actually really good. I would love to see that. But did you see the grin on Greensheep's face on his mulligan? He's like, finally, I've got a good opener. I've got a great opener. He's got a 1, a 2, a 3, and he's got some late action. I mean, this is the kind of hand he wants in this matchup.
Yeah, it certainly is, and Kaldi really taking his time on this one. Anti-Healbot's a very critical card in this matchup. I'm not terribly surprised to see him keep it here. Obviously, I don't think he wanted to replace the Sludge Belcher with a Sylvanas and a Siphon Soul, but he's got a Mortal Coil to help fight off some early action here. But once again, Greensheep continues to add pressure to this opening hand. Going with the Leopard Gnome here, and now Kaldi, this is a spot where he has a little bit of an option. Does he want to take some extra damage, leverage that life total and find some more options, or does he want to just Mortal Coil this straight away? And he favors, he's going to take a few damage anyway, but he's playing for the long game here and trying to stifle as much damage as Greensheep can throw at him early on.
Yeah, you got to believe that he's going to Mortal Coil in those spots there. Haunted Creeper is going to come down for Greensheep. Now, that's a great minion in this matchup. It's very sticky. It leaves behind 2 1/1 bodies if it dies, and it's just so good against a lot of the AoE effects and removal that Kaldi's going to have in his deck.
Now, here's the trade-off for that, though, is if you find yourself in this position, he could have taken that couple of extra damage and found himself potentially playing a Mountain Giant on turn 4. That option is now taken away from him, and Greensheep is going on the aggressive. He's already seen a Mortal Coil from Kaldi. He says, you know what, if you got a Hellfire, God bless. I still got the Haunted Creeper for the 2 tokens out, but you have to deal with something here that I'm throwing at you, and I'm throwing it at you fast.
Oh yeah, Greensheep is coming out of the gate swinging. You're seeing Kaldi, use his life total to his advantage here, get an extra card, but he's going to Dark Bomb this Wolf Rider to try to stem the bleeding a little bit. But there is a lot of aggression coming out of Greensheep here, and he has a ton of backup here.
Yeah, one of the worst things that can happen when you're constantly taking blowback is that you find yourself in positions where aggression is such an effective strategy versus you. The real big downside of Greensheep's hand right now is that he has this snake trap in his hand. It's sort of the risk you run when you play Hunter is that drawing the traps isn't always very good. Now, the Mad Scientist is really where you want to get those. The traps are not pertinent in this matchup. They're not those cards that you actually have to have. So the fact that he's drawn these is taking a little bit away from the way that his draw is going to pan out, and continue to weave in hero powers. I gotta believe he's going to use those basically every turn until he finds a spot where he can absolutely just 100% push Kaldi out of the game.
Yeah. Now, Kaldi does have 2 anti-kill bots in his hand, so he has a lot of recovery going on in this game that he can use, but he's not going to use one this turn. You're probably going to see a Mountain Giant come and play this turn.
Yeah, I gotta believe it's Mountain Giant. He has to do something to also get pressure on the board. This is something else that Handlock really has to consider, is not only how it stifles the pressure, but how it handles, going forward. Because when they get low enough, that hero power plus something like a kill command can easily burst you out of the game. In this spot, it looks like Greensheep's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 damage total. So he can put him down to 3, and it looks like that's what he's gonna favor to do.
Yeah, he's going to put Kaldi down to 3 here and just dare him to have a way to beat his board and to regain life this turn.
Well, Arcane Golem, he is going all in. He has no way to fight past taunts, but Kaldi doesn't have a way to taunt right now. So this is exactly the kind of position that aggressive strategies can put you in. They put you to the test. They have any number of questions and say, here, you answer what I'm doing.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like Kaldi's going to have the best answers possible here. He does have an anti-heal bot. He does have a free Molten Giant. It's going to be interesting to see how he's going to play this turn. He doesn't have any real taunts going on, so Kaldi not exactly where he wants to be.
And go with Ancient Watcher here. I mean, he has to. He has to couple this with Anti-Heal Bot. He absolutely cannot Shadow Flame at this point. So going to go back up to 11. But this Mountain Giant looks like it's pretty much committed to attacking a 5/2 Arcane Golem, which is not where you want that minion to be going.
Yeah, now Greensheep has 7 this turn, unless he wants to use his Eagle Horn bow. He can make it up to 8 but I have to believe that he's going to develop his board a little bit more here with Worgen Infiltrator, continue to weave in hero powers. As we said, he'll probably do it every turn for the rest of the game. He needs that finishing burst that Kaldi had last game with those kill commands.
Yeah, he needs to find something. I mean, I have to believe that quick shot is very much, very often going to be found in this build as well. When you have stuff like Wolf Rider and Arcane Golem, you pretty much want all the direct damage you can get. So pushing for a little bit more here, and now, not surprised to see the Worgen Infiltrator, even going to play this Snake Trap with it, and just going to face, once again, Kaldi has the second antique heal bot, so he can go up to 12, but this is potentially still disastrous for Kaldi. Hellfire is not a very strong card at the moment, I can tell you that.
Yeah, now Kaldi's probably going to be a little surprised by this Snake Trap here from Greensheep, because he's gonna have to trade in here. He has to attack Greensheep's minions. He's kind of priced into doing that. He can't really race yet, and he's going to have to play this antique heal bot this turn to get out of the 4 range, because Worgen Infiltrator plus a hero power just kills him.
Yeah, does he want to attack the Haunted Creeper, though? It's like such a poor one to have to attack. I mean, if he's going to attack Haunted Creeper, he has the Shadow Flame to couple with that, but then he can't play Antique Heal Bot. I mean, this is really dangerous stuff at this point. Again, he's had the heals to fight through this, but not the taunts to back that up.
Yeah, now, an interesting thing he can do here is...
Oh, is that another Snake Trap? So it's not another Snake Trap. That's, I think, a sigh of relief for him. But once again, just so much pressure is bearing down on him, and it feels like to me that right now he doesn't have the adequate answers.
Yeah, it was interesting to see if he was going to try to race Greensheep this turn by just attacking him with his giants and playing Antique Heal Bot and just hoping that Greensheep couldn't finish him off this turn. But he has traded a lot, and the Snake Trap's throwing quite a wrench in his plans here.
Wow, he may feel like he needs to risk what's going on. Not going to risk it. Oh, he is going to risk it. So no heal here from Kaldi, and that's going to do it. Eagle Horn Bow plus that hero power is going to finish him off. Greensheep going to put a win on the board and send this one to game 4.
Yep, so we see the first step towards coming back, and as you said, the first step in 1,000 steps or whatever.
I meant to say 1,000 miles.
Yeah,
exactly what
I know. Get it right next time. But
great aggressive play here from Greensheep, sending this one to game 4. Love his strategy choice. And now Greensheep back to the drawing board again. We've seen these guys swap their strategies back and forth. That's the kind of thing you're going to see when players can play anything they want.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool to see if they ever actually pick the same strategy at a time, because they've been mirroring each other a lot. Like, Kaldi played Hunter, then Greensheep played Hunter, handlock, going back and forth. So it's going to be really cool to see if we ever get an actual mirror match and, what's going to come out of that, and see if Greensheep can win 2 more in a row. Yeah,
sort of we saw in that match that Kaldi wasn't able to get a big advantage of the fact that he's trying to use his own life total. I mean, he got Molten Giants on the board, but he didn't have those key taunts. So despite the fact he was able to kill a lot of minions, he wasn't able to, put Greensheep in a position where he had to kill his own minions. And that's really sort of an important point for that deck, is you need to put your opponent in a position where you dictate their attacks at some point, and just never able to do that.
Yeah, he was never able to do that. Greensheep put him on the back foot the entire game. He was super aggressive. You saw him with a very good opening draw. He kind of puttered out there a little bit in the middle of the game, but he found just enough to get through. Kaldi didn't find the exact cards he needed to get through that game. He couldn't find a taunter there late in the game, so we're going to have to see if Greensheep can win 2 more to win this match.
Yeah, typically any aggressive strategy is going to put a lot of damage on the board, but the big factor is whether or not they have the reach to finish it. So that's exactly what Greensheep had that one, and when we come back, we're going to head into game 4, Greensheep versus Kaldi. Kaldi once again on match point. Greensheep now only needs 2 straight. Don't go anywhere, guys. You're watching Hearthstone on PvP Live.